reminisce. Yeah.
I reminisce for a spell, or shall I say think back 22 years ago to keep it on track. The birth of a child on the 8th of October, a toast, but my granddaddy came sober. Count all the fingers and the toes, now I suppose you hope the little black boy grows. 18 years younger than my mama, but I really got beaten. The girl of drama. In single parenthood, there I stood. By the time she was 21, had another one. This one's a girl, let's name her Pam. Same father as the first, but you don't give a damn. Irresponsible, plain not thinking. Papa said chill, but the brother keep winking. Still he won't down, you would tear out your hide. On your side while the baby make a slide. But mama got wise to the game. The youngest of 5 kids, hun, here it is. After 10 years without no spouse, mama's getting married in the house. Listen, positive over negative for the woman a master. Mother Queen's rise in the chapter. Deja vu, tell you what I'm gonna do when they reminisce over you, my God. When I date back, I recall a man off the family tree. My right hand, Papa Doc, I see. Took me from a boy to a man, so I always had a father when my biological didn't bother. Taking care of this, so who am I to bicker? Not a bad ticker, but I'm clocking Pop's liver. But you can never say that his life is through. 5 kids at 21, believe he got a right to. Here we go while I check the scene with the Portuguese lover at the age of 14. The same age, front page, no fuss, but I bet you all you know they live longer than us. Never been seen now, that's where you're wrong. But give the man a taste and he's gone. Nodding off sleep to a jazz tune. I can hear his head banging on the wall in the next room. I get the pillow and hope I don't wake him. For this man to cuss, hear it all in verbatim. Telling me how to raise my boy unless he's taking over. I said, Pop, maybe when you're older. We laughed all night about the hookers at the party. My old man standing yelling, good God Almighty. Use your condom, take sips of the brew. When they reminisce over you, for real.
For real, baby. Like that. We for real. Coming at ya. In 92. Rock and CL Smooth. Yeah. Come on.
I reminisce so you never forget this. The days are way back, so many bear witness the fitness. Take the first letter out of each word in this joint. Listen close as I prove my point. T to the R-O-Y, how did you and I meet in front of Big Lou's fighting in the street? But only you saw what took many time to see. I dedicate this to you for believing in me. Rain or shine, yes in any weather. My grandma Pam holds the family together. My Uncle Doc's the greatest, better get the latest. If we're talking about a car, Uncle Sterling got the latest. I strive to be live cause I got no choice. And run my own business like my Aunt Joyce. So Pete Rock hit me, enough respect due. When they reminisce over you, listen.
Listen. Just listen to the funky songs as I rock on, and that's word is born. I'm not playing, everybody just coolin'. This song we dedicate to the one and only. Never be another, he was my brother. Trouble T. Roy, it's like that, y'all. And it don't stop. Rock and still smooth for 92. And we out. Later.
This is dedicated to all my folks diagnosed with a bad case of that proper upbringing and never took the time to fall in line or follow or swallow the thoughts of the recognized committees who lurk throughout your city, your hood, your town. No matter which type you're from, the same type of people trying to hold you down just because you tailor-made for bigger and better things. Never missed a chance to move ahead of things. And what does it bring? I tell you, for me, it brought jealousy and back rooms from all the stabbing.
This is not going to be a long video. Mark Kulak, HoustonTonic.live, Friday, April 10th, 2026. I suspected this specific piece of data that I'm going to highlight here, and I'm going to highlight the profound implications of this. I titled this one Trump. I wanted to say, hey, President Trump. This is a message to President Trump and whoever's maintaining Trump's social media. I'm not an insider. I don't have any connections. I know someone who had a meeting with Trump once. And even though not much came out of that meeting, I have to say I'm very disappointed. The fact that Trump even had that meeting still bears a little bit of weight. So what the heck am I talking about here? And if you do have a connection to President Trump or Trump's social media team, I would encourage you to share this with them. Because this is one of the most deadly things that Trump could use to win his social media battle, which I'm sick of watching, to be honest with you. I don't want to live in a country where our leaders need to be calling each other stupid all the time. Enough of this stuff, okay? I want better role models. Anyways, Trump had this long tweet, and I'm not on Twitter very morning. Good morning, Shimmer. Good morning, Arthur. Good morning, Tazik. It was like a short essay, and about Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Marjorie Trader Green. I have to admit that's kind of clever. MTG, a few other people. And, calling them stupid, saying they're not behind the war, and they can't get Iran, they're pro-Iran. I don't know. It's just, it just goes on and on and on. And I'm definitely frustrated. I'm even more frustrated at all the people that he just listed. And he, and what I'm going to show here plays into that tweet, all right? This is an article, newspaper article from September 7th, 2001. I'm so thankful that you guys are here. And even though I know that my audience consumes a lot of information that they then can't pass on to other people because no one knows what they're talking about. Because this honest, sincere attempt to understand what the hell's been happening in the United States over the last 30, 40, 50 years is so underexplored, is so underrepresented that even the high-level stuff that I talk about is almost completely foreign to so many other people. Thank you for being here, Arthur. It's so sad that, among the most important names, for example, we're not talking about today, Dr. Joshua Lederberg, is an unknown name to 99.9%, probably even more, of Americans. It's sort of like it would be, imagine trying to explain the last 50, 100 years of history without saying the name FDR or JFK. Now, I'm not saying that those people had all of the greatest insights and were the big thinkers. That's not the point. The point, though, is that whether or not, even if they were really in control or not, okay, they just become ways to be able to reference time periods, administrations, and so on. And if you found my program, and I see you guys here regularly, thank you. I know it must be frustrating. Trust me, I'm frustrated too. I don't know where to take it. I don't know how to build this bridge. So today's show, this quick show, is one of these exercises in building a bridge. Now, many people who are willing to consider the possibility that there's a little bit more to history than what is in the history books or the fake history, which is also thrown at us through alternative media, okay, are willing to consider the possibility that something about September 11th, 2001 was more than just an unexpected attack on the United States of America by people who hate freedom from Pakistan who are box cutter enthusiasts. All right, we know this. All right, you know that, I know that, which means that there was some planning going on, and we can break it all down, etc. So in order to, when people look at other events that happen on the day of, the morning of, the day before, weeks before, that's what they should be doing, right? Even a few years before, to try to see, look at the tea. Are there any tea leaves visible? Were there any clues about what was going to happen, when it was going to happen? And, for example, there's this famous quote from Donald Rumsfeld, now passed, the late Donald Rumsfeld, who was the head of the Pentagon, the United States military, the Secretary of Defense at the time of September 11th, 2001, where he said that $2.3 trillion couldn't be tracked. He was really talking about the lack of a semi-modern auditing system, electronic database and auditing system. And people have misconstrued that, misrepresented that as the military spent $2.3 trillion and that's it. They just lost it. They just stole it or something, which is absurd because the military budget was $300 billion. So how long would it have even taken to get that much money that nobody noticed, but whatever, okay? And so here is a data point. Here's a data point, okay? This article on September 7th, 2001, film of professor's book debuts in Toronto. I wouldn't expect you to know who this guy is by looking at him. This man, his name is Robert O'Connor, and he is the author of a book called Buffalo Soldiers. Here he sits in his Liverpool room. I guess that means that he's British, okay? So, a film version of his novel was written in 1994. 1994 was premiering. Now, look at the date here, September 7th, 2001, okay? September 7th, 2001. I will read the first few paragraphs here, written by an entertainment columnist. There are stars, stairs. There are stars, and more stars to the city nicknamed Hollywood North. They will be signing autographs, smiling for the cameras, grabbing to the media in interviews, and otherwise hyping their latest films. Denzel Washington, Steve Martin, Jeffrey Rush, Mira Sorvino, and Anthony Hopkins are expected over the 10-day span of the 26th Annual Toronto International Film Festival. And among the glitterati is a Liverpool man who won't be recognized by any of the celebrity stalkers. His name is Robert O'Connell, a tenured English professor at the State University College at Oswego. I don't know, what would that be? That's is that Canada? I forget. Stupid me. I'm usually pretty good with that type of stuff. What is this 41-year-old doing amid all these celebrities? Buffalo Soldiers is having its world premiere Saturday night. So Saturday night would be, this is Friday, September 7th. September 8th, 2001 is a Saturday. So on Saturday, September 8th, 2001, there is the premiere of Buffalo Soldiers, and the second screening is Tuesday. At this film festival, and the movie is meant to come out, I believe, on the following weekend. So its premiere is then, and then the screening is on Tuesday, which would have been September 11th, 2001, its second screening. So it had precisely one screening at this Toronto Film Festival. The 8-year journey to the screen might have been considerably faster if the rights purchaser had been able to muster the finances he sought mere months before the book's 1993 publication. So the book, Buffalo Soldiers, came out in 1993. Get waylaid. Let's see here. O'Connor understands why raising the funds proved difficult. He said, "My book was never a bestseller, but it got good reviews. More than good reviews. Buffalo Soldiers was acclaimed one of the 2 best fiction books, all right, of the decade by Esquire magazine. Esquire magazine. I mean, I don't read Esquire. I couldn't say much about it, but of 2 books of fiction, Buffalo Soldiers was number 2 for the 1990s. I mean, for whatever it's worth, okay. In 1996, an international literary magazine dubbed him one of the 20 best young American writers. Still, money proved a sticking point. And the option ran out. So enter London-based Guerrilla Entertainment and German producer Rainier Group. who accomplished what the previous rights holder was unable to manage. They put in place a director, Gregor Jordan, who had impressed critics and Robert O'Connell with his film. Two hands and a cast that boasted an Oscar winner, Anna Paquin, two Academy Award nominees, Joaquin Phoenix and Ed Harris, and respected actor Scott Glenn. So Anna Paquin, Joaquin Phoenix, that matters, okay? Ed Harris, Scott Glenn, for a $15 million budget, and the movie came out. On the second screening would have been the evening of September 11th, 2001, and it opens the following weekend. All right, movie came out. What's Buffalo Soldiers about? What is Buffalo Soldiers about? Buffalo Soldiers is a movie. It's meant to take place in the 1980s, early 1990s in Germany, okay? But effectively, it has a lot of modern things in it. So it's, even though it's in some sense it's meant to be a few years ago, it's really present. So let's just say that it's meant to be present. The movie is about U.S. military personnel in Germany, on a U.S. military base in Germany. And this U.S. military personnel are corrupt. They're corrupt, and they're drug users. And there's an incident where they kill, accidentally, two U.S. How would you say? I'm bad with military ranks. I apologize. Please understand that. But let's say two mid-level military generals die, and they take possession of about $10 million of very deadly military equipment. They then go on to sell the military equipment to a Turkish or Pakistani businessman/terrorist in Germany in return for money, which they then use to cook up crystal meth and other drugs, other narcotics to sell for more profit. So the money is about military personnel with nothing better to do than to kill each other, steal U.S. military equipment, sell it to terrorists, and in return get money for drugs and to make drugs and to sell the drugs. Boy, what a patriotic story this is. And that's fiction? I don't know. But anyways, I mean, as far as that's, it sounds more like a hit piece than fiction to me. But whatever the case, okay? Anyways, this movie's coming out. Second screening on September 11th, 2001. It's premiering the following weekend. Now, of course, September 11th then happens. This movie is about as anti-American and anti-U.S. military as you could possibly. You actually couldn't conceive of a nastier movie. And the movie was being financed by Miramax and Harvey Weinstein. Harvey Weinstein was financing a movie that was coming out on 9/11, and the weekend of 9/11, Harvey Weinstein and Miramax was financing a movie about U.S. military personnel who kill military generals to steal deadly, high-powered U.S. military equipment, maybe even small nuclear devices, sell them to terrorists in return for money and drugs. That's Buffalo Soldiers. Now, Buffalo Soldiers is a, I'm mixed, but I'm not really, just a little bit, I'm just a little bit Congolese, just a tiny bit. So I can't really speak for this one here. But some people have mixed feelings about the use of the term Buffalo Soldiers, which is really a reference to black Americans who fought in the war. Going back to the, I don't know if it was World War I when the phrase first came in. And I should be more, again, respectful and aware of that phrase as well. Some people, I think, think it's an American phrase. It could be seen as slanderous to some. For others, they see it as like, look, this is the group that actually gets it done. And even though it's slanderous, it's also kind of a respectful thing. But anyways, that's where the phrase comes from. It refers to black Americans who are in the U.S. military. So now the Joaquin Phoenix himself, I think he is Cuban or something. I don't know what his ancestry is. Whatever the case, okay, nothing could be further from the truth. He's not really black himself. So I don't know why they use the term Buffalo Soldiers here, because it's not really about blacks in the military. It's really about corrupt military people who are stealing military equipment and selling it. And it's not that they're just selling it to other people for drugs. They're selling it to terrorists for drugs. This is the movie. Now let's consider a few more things around this ecosystem, okay? Because I said Trump should mention this freaking movie. He's willing to write. Trump almost wrote a whole screenplay himself in his last tweet about Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson. If Trump really wants to spend his time, or someone, for Trump, anyways, writing about how dumb these people are, why not talk about this movie? And you know why? You know why I suggest this? Well, several reasons. One is Harvey Weinstein, at the time of this movie, was also the main funder and owner of a magazine called Talk Magazine, where Tucker Carlson was one of his employees. Now, I think Tucker Carlson was a part-time subcontracted employee, and Tucker may not have written any more articles for Talk after the beginning of 2001. I don't know when the last article was. So Tucker could say, I left that place. Whatever the case, Tucker Carlson took a paycheck for at least a year and a half, maybe almost 2 years, from Harvey Weinstein. And Harvey Weinstein is the money behind this movie. This movie was so offensive, was so derogatory of the U.S. military that they pulled it. They pulled it. This might be the only time in U.S. history that a movie was pulled because it was so derogatory, and an event just happened. An event just happened, September 11th, 2001, where now the military is going to need to be engaged because guess what? America was, according to the narrative, attacked by terrorists who also get money from drugs. But it's weirder than that, because Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens promote each other all the time. Who was the last person who got a video interview of Harvey Weinstein? The last 10 years, who was the last person to get a Harvey Weinstein interview? Well, holy Toledo, Batman, it was Candace Owens. Candace Owens is a supporter, endorser of Harvey Weinstein. Tucker Carlson supports Candace. Candace supports Tucker. Tucker won't say anything bad about Harvey Weinstein, but Harvey Weinstein is Tucker Carlson's story. Tucker and Harvey Weinstein funded this movie. But it gets weirder than that even. Because the official meme of COVID-19 and America going to hell and burning everywhere was movie from The Joker. The Joker starring Joaquin Phoenix, who's also the star of Buffalo Soldiers almost 19 years prior to COVID-19. And the movie 9/11, I think, was narrated by Robert De Niro. And Robert De Niro plays the talk show host on the movie Joker that's assassinated on the air by Joaquin Phoenix as he plays the Joker. Let's not forget also that when it came time to do movies about the official narrative of 9/11, the main money behind Fahrenheit 9/11 was also, ta-da, Harvey Weinstein. Harvey Weinstein effectively, and Quentin Tarantino provided the money to fuel Fahrenheit 9/11 in the year 2004, while the counter-narrative, which is almost exactly the same story, oh my goodness, the counter-narrative was made by Steve Bannon, who's in business with Harvey Weinstein, according to Wall Street Journal articles from 2005, 6, and 7. And Steve Bannon also is a collaborator, supporter of sorts, of Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens. All of this comes out. You'd highlight this one movie Buffalo Soldiers. They waited 2 years before releasing it. And the only reason I know about it is because I like watching Army tanks. I couldn't tell you. I'm not very good at identifying different tanks. But one day I was like, you know what? I want to watch a tank movie. I don't know. This is back, 10, 12 years ago, give or take, okay? I think it was actually before I even got into this world of researching, and Housatonic. I think I was at Datto Corporation still. It might have even been when I was at NetApp before then. It was quite a while ago. It might have been 2011 or 2012. And I says, I want to watch a tank movie. So I got online, I searched around, and I found these tank scenes from this movie called Buffalo Soldiers, where a couple of Americans in a tank are shooting up heroin and then driving around while high on heroin, crushing cars, even civilians, and killing people while having a laugh and playing rap music from the 1990s. Ha, ha, ha. God bless America. If Trump really wants to show this machine, he should show this. And let's not also forget one more little fun thing. Talk Magazine in the August of 2001 issue, I believe it was August 2001, and you can go to Housatonic.live or HousatonicITS.com, click on the T's, and you can find Talk Magazine down below. It's alphabetized. You can download all of them, or you can view the individual episode. Talk Magazine provided an article that was supposedly written by an American named Kevin Ingram. Kevin Ingram talked about how he was involved in an FBI sting that involved American military personnel stealing U.S. military equipment, including small nuclear devices, and selling them to terrorists in return for money and heroin, terrorists from Pakistan and Turkey. This, I swear to God, was an article in Harvey Weinstein's Talk magazine that was on the shelves at the time of 9/11, effectively providing also a support for the same narrative that the book was pushing, but the movie was pushing, that had to be pulled. I can't make this stuff up. If President Trump really wants to show the depravity behind, and I'm not saying them in particular, although perhaps them as well, but behind Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, the Hollywood Machine, and Harvey Weinstein, etc., he should highlight this show, and he should be talking Buffalo Soldiers. And if you want to, you should as well. Oh, yeah, that's right. Harvey Weinstein sold Talk, or actually Talk closed down. It was rebooted. 2 episodes. They shut it down again. And then when Talk was rebooted as Radar Magazine in 2005, its new owner was Jeffrey Epstein. How's them apples?
Scream insanity, or you ever going
Thanks
to
for
be
watching.
another great fan
I think
of me?
Jake Cooey's going to be live soon. Love you.
Holy calamity, scream insanity, or you ever...
Something just happened. It's like my internet just paused. Oh, how could you do that? How rude. I wonder if they just pulled the plug on me. Wow. That was weird. All right. Well, we're just going to close this one out.